Welcome back to the vlog, guys. Welcome here to Goroka, Papua New Guinea. Brad and I are heading down to Madang on a half-hour flight. We're going to go up over top of Mount Otto, which is 11,000 feet. Just check it out because it's a nice clear day. And I haven't even actually looked, and there's more clouds up in the mountains. So we might do that, or we might just go up to the Bennett Gap like we always do. So let's go ahead and get started. Make sure everything's back, fuel's on. So start. Over 14%, our oil pressure's coming in. We'll introduce our fuel. Fuel flow's coming up, oil pressure's coming up. NG's now coming up over 35%. Then I'm looking at my ITT. Once he's disconnected that, we'll flip our generator. Let it spike for a sec, go down. Our alternator, the same. And then our auxiliary bus, our V2. Once he moves out, we'll get our prop forward. Like I said, we're heading down at 11,000 feet, basically 5,600 feet, so we'll rotate at, say, 55 and 64 for you to come back in. Oh, I'm just checking this. Coming down here. Yep, looks right so far coming across. We're going down to Madang. Got all that set up, and we're in bypass. All my T's and P's are in the green. We've got 20, got all my trims set up. So flaps are set, indicated, and verified at 20. Goroka Tower, morning, November Tango Echo, request taxi Madang, 2 POB.
November Tango Echo, Goroka Tower. Morning to Ryan, and taxi to runway 17 left, engine backtrack and line up. Wind light in view, QNH 1020, temperature 20, time 59.
Morning, Rowan 1020, quick backtrack line up 17 left, November Tango Echo. Alright, clear left and right. Let's take a look and see if we can see. Looks like there's a lot of clouds up there now. There's a good chance we won't actually be able to see those. We might just head out the Bennett Gap, or actually, you know what we'll do is we'll head out the North Gap, just as a different way, because you've been out through the Bennett Gap a few times. So, if you haven't seen any of the other videos, Brad's one of our new pilots. He's done all of the Kodiak kind of on-the-ground stuff courses that we just did for the past 3 weeks, and we're still waiting on his validation permit. He has to get that before he can sit in left seat fly here in Papua New Guinea. Even though he's fully rated, we have to get that before we can start his training. So he's just getting observation flights. And yeah, for the next, hopefully we can get that done and get the validation permit quick enough. So I always come off to the left.
Good morning up.
And then if you're turning to the right, it's easier to line your nose wheel up to the left as if you were doing it to the left. Because if for some reason your nose wheel is still a tiny bit curved off, like the torque's going to get you pulled out. As opposed if you were turning around to the left, now your nose wheel is already to the left, and then you add power, and it's already wanting to pull you to the left.
Okay.
All right, we're going to be 50 knots by our taxiway, or we'll stop on the runway. After takeoff, we'll pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL, consider feather. If EPL doesn't work, we'll go ahead and cut off, pull off, and shut off. Emergencies masters, crack my door, call up Roland, and do, depending on, be like 95, 90, 85, and 80. Ignition and lights are done. November Tango Echo ready for departure.
November Tango Echo, 17 left, make left turn, clear for takeoff.
17 left, and we'll be heading out the Goroka Gap today with the right-hand turn if able. November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, as required, cancel left turn, make a right turn.
Make right turn, November Tango Echo. Ignition condition flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. 23 degrees out, so 1330. Keep it alive.
And line up in turn.
Got some little birds up there.
Tango Echo, Kodiak is rolling off. 17 left, will be on a right turn, departing to Madang.
Alright, just get some nose trim out. There's 20 degrees. There's 500. Over 90. Lower the nose, go 0. And bring our pop back. 2000. And retrim. You kind of hear that wah 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 wah. That's a reminder you hear still in bypass that for some reason you're like, what is that noise? It's just that. Goroka Tower, November Tango Echo, departed 03. We'll be tracking 019 shortly on climb 1000, estimating Madang 28.
November Tango Echo, 1000, contact Moresby on primary VHF 120.1 second HF 6598 with a Goroka gap.
1201 or 6598, Goroka gap, November Tango Echo. Alright, doesn't look like I wanted to show you the top of Mount Otto, but regardless, we'll head out the Goroka gap, and I'm just going to pitch for like 99 knots to 100 knots. There's the Goroka gap, the GGP, and it looks like it should be open. Actually, no, look at that, right on top of the mountain.
Yeah, you can see it.
We can see it, so yeah, let's actually head up that way. We'll just go for 720 on the ITT, 2000 on the prop. That way we can get our maximum climb up there.
Takeoff, we're keeping it below 740, but then once we clean up and we're ready for the climb, we're keeping it below 720.
Yeah. And I like to get in the habit of trying to keep it as close as I can to those numbers, just so you're getting, like, especially for takeoff and stuff. Like, you don't really need the 740 taking off out of here, but at the bush locations, there's going to be times that you want every little ounce and maybe even some more to get out of there. So what I do is, as I'm rolling down the runway, when I say airspeed alive, I look over here, and my ITT should be right at close to 720 on the rollout.
Okay.
If it's at 720 by the time I'm rotating, it'll be very close to 740. If I see that it's already at 740, when I have 25 knots, I know I'm going to be over, so I can just bump it back a tiny bit. If I get in that habit for when I am at a bush location, I don't have to, like, wonder if I'm at full power or not. I can just go, as I'm just doing my airspeed check, yep, I need to add more or I'm good.
Okay. You usually leave it on the map page, whereas Mint is leaving it right here. Is that right?
Yeah, so let me explain why I leave it on the map page. So what information on here is the most critical that you would use a lot?
Got your times and distances.
Okay. So I also have my distances up here, and I also have my estimated time en route here.
So you can convert to arrival.
I also have my landing time here. So I have all this information. The only time this landing isn't going to say anything is if I'm going to a bush place, it doesn't know it's an airstrip. Okay. So for Madang or any place like that, places that I would actually need to text somebody to say, hey, I'm going to land at this time, I already have my landing time here.
Okay.
But if I was going to a bush place and I wanted to know it, I could just hit my flight plan button and go, oh, I'm going to be there. So that's all the information I have here. All the same stuff is already up here, so I don't need to have it being redundant, you know?
Is your estimated time en route going to be accurate, whether it knows you're landing or not?
Well, in the climb, it doesn't know, because it's gonna be all skewed.
Okay.
And same with this. So we're probably minus off like 8 or 10 minutes because we're in the climb. So that's why I leave it on this page, because I fly with the terrain a lot. Like, I want to know, like, if I'm looking at clouds, I look at this screen and I want to know, okay, the clouds are doing this. That makes sense according to the terrain. So here's my best options looking at that and this. Okay. So that's why I don't fly with this one. And if I, like I said, if I want to just say, text somebody, I'm going to be at some time, I can quickly look at it, or just look at my landing time up here.
Tracking 148, passing 7,000, climbing.
All right, that's 11,000, just about. I'm going to start taking this rudder out.
Alpha November Juliet, stand by.
It didn't look like we were going to be over top of it, but at 11,000, but we should be, because I think it's just right at 11,000, or just a few feet under. I'm just kind of slowly taking a little bit of that right rudder pressure out as I'm now leveled off. So I believe these are Digicel towers and maybe some HF repeaters, or I have no idea exactly what they are. Moresby 1201, November Tango Echo.
November Tango Echo, Moresby, morning sir, go ahead.
Morning, November Tango Echo, level 1000. Shortly on descent, Madang, estimating Madang, time 27.
November Tango Echo, at a Guinea 1010 and traffic is Mike Alpha Hotel Cessna Caravan is ahead of you, Goroka Madang On descent from land 1000, estimating Madang at 20.
Copy, Mike Alpha Hotel, November Tango Echo. There you go. Now you know what it looks like up here. Not a lot. Alright, so let's just make a right-hand, correction, left-hand turn. Looks like it's a really nice day going all the way down. At this point, I'm kind of evaluating what it's looking like for coming back here. I'm going to look this way, check out my gaps, look how much cloud has built up already, or if it is not building up. I get to already 10 in the morning and it's not really building up really, there's not that many clouds. There will be more, according to Wendy, saying that there was going to be a little more. So let's set up our descent, come down here and we'll set up 1,000 feet for my pattern altitude down to Madang, hit enter, and it automatically will put in a 3-degree glide slope coming down at 1,000 feet per minute. It's just you and I today. I typically will just do around 800 feet, which is just 2.5 for this specific rounder. And then it puts our top of descent, let us know when to start heading down from there. Just going to slowly kind of go over, connect to that line over there. We don't have to. What I don't want you to do when you start flying is being overly drawn to want to fly in your magenta line all the time, because you're flying around terrain so much and you're flying around clouds a lot, it's easier just to go, okay, this is where we're going, but we don't have to be directly on it all the time. So when I pull my power back, I pull it back to 1270 initially, and then let it sit. Usually 1270, it will settle on down to 1250. Usually within like 20 seconds there. So it took about 20 seconds to settle all the way down.
Okay.
But if you pull it to that and then just let it sit, you won't have to sit there and readjust it 2 or 3 more times. And turn off my right fuel.
What altitude are you usually controlling the torque versus ITT or fuel flow?
So below 5,000, I go off of my fuel flow.
Okay.
From 5,000, usually up to about 12,000, depending on the temperature and the specific airplane you're flying. Like Zulu, it's usually 12,000, but Echo and Kilo,
vertical
you can
track.
sometimes get a little bit higher. Then I go with 1250. Over basically 13,000, then I fly with my ITT of 700. Okay. All right, okay. That's Betty. So we'll turn our altitude select all the way down to 1,000. And then hit vertical speed, hold it, and then altitude. And you can flip this all the way down. We'll turn it to around 600 first. And you'll see that it's just going to zoom on past 600. Once it does, then we'll go do a couple more clicks. That way it kind of actually evens out to about 800 to where we want it. So, this little ring right here, that's our 25-mile mark where we need to get a hold of the tower.
Okay. So we don't need to talk to Moresby before that?
We already did, at the very top when we were just flying over the ridge.
Yeah, it's just the one time though.
Just the one time, and he'll probably call up here in a second saying to contact Madang Tower at 25 miles.
If they don't, then we just go ahead and switch over.
If they don't, we just switch it over, yeah.
And whenever we were leaving Goroka, you told them our time of departure. I mean, aren't they familiar with that? What's the point of doing that?
It's to basically like kind of start the timer to go off of our flight plan. So our flight plan says we've got 25 minutes down here. So we're just going off of, that's our time. So that way when they tell Port Moresby, they'll call down here to Madang, our tower will, on the phone and say, hey, November Tango Echo is going to be at your circuit at time 28.
Okay. Just
so that they have an estimate.
You're telling them your departure, and then when you talk to Moresby, you're talking about your arrival. That's right. Okay.
In case things have changed, if I had to maneuver or whatever else, it's updating them with when I'm actually going to be getting down here.
Okay, cool.
So also you can see here, because my altitude right here is in cyan color, it's put all of our vertical guidance right here. So it's basically like the little glide slope.
Okay.
And you can see all the boxes are even kind of tilted all the way down. So if we wanted to fly right on that, you know, poor man's glide slope, we could basically fly our vertical guidance all the way down.
Okay.
Or this is another reason why I like flying with the big map, is because that's just him talking to us at that. It shows more information.
November Tango Echo, additional traffic is Alpha November, November, -8, network for Madang, checking inbound from Utok. Condition for 16,000, estimate Madang by time 0036.
Copy Alpha November 36, November Echo.
So they're 11 minutes behind us.
November Echo, 25 miles Madang, contact Madang Tower, 118.1.
25 miles, contact Madang Tower, November Echo. So I always, for my slow brain, I always write everything down, because if I want to go back and contact him for some reason, like, hey, where are you? Or, hey, what's the area or local QNH when you landed, things like that. I have his call sign, otherwise I won't remember it 30 seconds from now. And I also put his time when he's supposed to be landing to go, is it really traffic that's necessary to me or no?
Then you're usually keeping this like at 30 miles?
It depends on what I'm doing. Like for like this, I am more concerned about where I'm going to end up on my descent. So that's why I have it on this, whereas if you have it on this map, you can't see it. And now you're zooming out even further, and now it's super small when all this information is already up here. Yeah. So that's why I like this one. Everything that you need is right here, and now you have so much better situational awareness because it's on something big. And for the one time that you need to, cancel your SAW or say your circuit time, you just hit and it just goes right back and forth. So I haven't found it to be that helpful for the other screen. All right, let's go ahead and start selectors. We're just about 25 miles. Let's just call up the tower. I didn't listen to my ADAS either.
Time 2338 Zulu. Runway 07. Wind variable 3 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Haze. Crash.
All right. Madang Tower, November Tango Echo. Currently 23 miles to run, passing 7,200 on descent. Information Delta. Copy Mike Alpha Hotel, Alpha November. Your estimate time 25.
November Tango Echo, good morning. Track for right base, runway 07. Report again, right base.
Track and report right base 07. And morning, November Tango Echo. Oh, one thing I didn't catch the QNH.
QNH 1010.
There we go, 1010. All right, now that we're on our descent, I'm gonna flip my landing light on. We haven't done inlet yet, we'll do that here in a second. If we have to go around, maybe because of birds or the flying foxes, the big bats they have down here, which they have a lot of, we'll power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73, maneuvers required, and reset our ITT up to 740, but because we're at sea level, we're gonna really be more cautious on powering up because we can over torque the airplane at sea level so much easier than we can in the highlands. Okay. So I'm really gonna be kind of watching both of those numbers. I'm just gonna kind of power up and then not all the way and not really fast because I don't want it just to spike. And then we'll readjust that, watching the needles come up. Rather than watching the specific number looking for 740, I'm just gonna watch that white needle go up to the top of the green because it's easier to watch a trend than to watch like a specific number like changing all the time and you're like trying to interpolate, I've got 55 more to go, All right, popping harness. I always notice when you get to past 5,000 feet, you always start going, man, it's starting to get humid and hot and it's muggy. It's always at the 5,000 foot marker. And then it reminds you to plug this in and...
Okay, so at what point are you putting terrain on here? Your lower altitudes in the clouds around the mountains?
I use the terrain if I am flying around terrain that I'm not familiar with, is when I use it.
Okay. You have terrain on this inset?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, on this inset, I always have terrain on, so that I always have something.
Yeah.
But on this one, I don't like it because as you get lower, it just turns everything yellow and then everything red.
Yeah, it takes the definition
And I'm
away.
I want to know where the definition of the hills are, not just red or yellow, For me, I use it when I feel like I need it, but a lot of times it's more convoluting for me to go, okay, well, where's my actual where my valleys, I can see where it's low, but I want to be able to go, okay, that's this and here. But if it's coming into a location that I'm not familiar with, and there's clouds, and I'm like, I don't know if I need to go up this valley or this valley, then I pull it up and it really helps determine what I want.
Okay.
But I always do have it on the little map down here, so I always have some reference to it.
Yeah. And you've got TAWs.
And I have TAWs as well, yeah. All right, I'll do autopilot off now and start slowing down. We're 5 miles. Okay, so you can see the extended of the runway, kind of a big green field. Come a little bit farther, they got some trees. That's kind of about where I'm heading to for wanting to turn, just a little bit past that, for when I want to turn my final. So I really wanted to be around 700 to 800 feet, kind of entering into my base. So wasn't really paying attention, so I'm just going to slow on down now. Popping harness is done. Madang Tower, November Tango Echo, joining right base 07.
November Tango Echo, caution bird strike hazard, runway 07, clear the land.
Land 07, November Tango Echo. Because bird strike hazard is not one of those required things that we have to repeat, you don't have to say that. Yep. You just have to say the other required items. And we have flaps to go is all. I found it's better, like if you know you're high, just start getting to where you want to so that by the time you turn final, you're at where you want to be, you know?
Okay. Yeah. So
other than trying to struggle all the way down, just struggle on your base and just zoom on down to where you need to be.
Yeah.
$500.
One of the taxiways, we'll have to go basically the third taxiway is where we're going to be getting off. The other ones are still closed. Alright, checklist is complete. Alternator fail. Nope. The thing they changed did not do it.
Where did you see the annunciation?
It just popped up and went away.
Okay.
So we'll let them know that did not fix it. Well, thanks guys for watching. That flight actually went by pretty quick actually on today. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up for your own plane or flight simulator, or you like these sunglasses, check out the link down below to my website. And if you guys want to see some on-the-ground content at places like this or some of the bush locations that we go to, check out the other Patreon link down below. We've got so many videos kind of walking around the places that we go to. Brad and I went out to Oceana, one of our videos recently, the shortest and steepest runway that we go to. We walked around just showing you kind of what it looks like on the ground and stuff. So anyways, thanks for taking the time to watch, you guys, and welcome here to Madang. I love these helicopters, especially these gray ones.